this will be episode 3, as we had some technical issues with our previous athlete, Danny. So we will be redoing that. It'll be a bit of a longer podcast this time around with Danny, because we're going to go into a bit more detail on the stuff he knows. And obviously he's quite knowledgeable and he can talk for England. So we will be redoing that one. Today, obviously, we've got the infamous Ebby, aka Silverback, with us. Give us a wave, bud. And just before we start, obviously, anything that is said on this podcast is not expert opinion. We don't claim to be experts, and it is all just our opinions. So if you are highly offended, please turn away now, because they will be swearing. And if you are a sensitive soul and want to stick around, it's at your own cost. So please enjoy, guys. Right. Let's crack on.
All right.
How's everyone feeling?
Well, we should go on to you first about that. How are you feeling?
I asked, how are you feeling? No, answer my question.
No, fuck off. Answer my question, bitch.
What's the question? Oh, I've got the dog here. Get out.
How are you feeling, you little bitch? You've been complaining all week.
Well, I had my vaccine on Monday. First one, the Pfizer one, and yeah, they say it's 2 to 3 days symptoms. I've had mine 6 days now, so the next day I was all right.
Same government trackers, mate. That's what it is. Same government trackers they put in you.
Yeah, no, mate. Tracking my movements. I don't know why. I only go like 2 places, either your place or work. So
I went round the other day, got a tinfoil hat on, sat in the living room.
Try going to the gym. Maybe your grip will get a bit stronger.
Oh.
Oh, that was a saucy one there.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
That's hurt me in a different way than it usually does. It's hurt me because I was bored.
No, because it's a little bitch.
Anyways, I've had symptoms running up till today, and only today I'm starting to feel a bit better. But apart from that, I still cracked on with training, still did what I needed to do. So
what a fucking hero.
Oh, what a legend.
Give me a badge.
Mummy's brave little soldier.
Wait, all right, before you fucking chat shit, have any of you had it yet?
Nah. Had what?
The vaccine.
Yeah.
Oh, Kelvin's first dibs, mate. It's about 90.
I had mine about a year ago, I think.
Yeah, listen, I'm not injecting dodgy shit into my body.
That's your choice. That's your choice. But are you talking about the vaccine or something else?
Yeah, the vaccine.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. We don't mention his Saturday night escapades here.
Yeah, that beard actually comes off.
Yeah.
Magnetic, innit?
Yeah.
So
how's everyone's training?
I'm still not training. I'm still not training.
Wasn't really directed at you, mate. So
yeah, it shows as well. So,
but why the fuck do you say that so proud? Oh, I'm still not training.
Because they fucking expect it by now, so I just say it, you know.
You know what? Jay actually come round the other week, and as much as he goes on about how much weight he's lost, he has lost a lot of fucking weight. Almost didn't recognise him.
Thank you.
I mean, he still had to come sideways in the door, but yeah.
Prick.
Well, it's rather sideways now than never getting in. So you know, well done, Jay. Well done.
Oh, you don't have to squeeze me through anymore. That's yeah.
It's nice to see him come in as one rather than his belt buckle and then the rest of him.
Oh, you fuck.
But no, you do look good, to be fair, mate.
You
I forgot how
me.
tall you were. Though. Yeah, well, I'm trying. But...
It depends if you're game or not, mate.
I'm always game. Always.
There we go. Happy medium. Should we introduce Netflix next week? I don't know. What are we talking about?
Nah, fuck that. We'll watch that Star Wars thing on Disney.
Oh, yeah, you two Star Wars geeks, aren't you?
Are we watching?
Huh?
Yeah, you see?
What are we watching?
Star Wars, mate.
He knew exactly what we were watching.
We're banging out some Bad Batch, are we?
Yeah, mate.
Mate.
Has anyone seen that new
Anyway.
Mortal Kombat yet?
It's fucking sweet. It's sick. I think it's a really good.
Well done.
It's a good film. Really.
I think it really underplayed Sub-Zero.
I've seen the trailer to it, and then it looks interesting.
It's
I think
like,
they really underplayed Sub-Zero. They didn't make Sub-Zero nearly as hard as he should be.
No, he should be fucking. He should be a beast, but he's a fucking.
But the storyline is about Scorpion, not Sub-Zero. So.
Yeah. So they wanted to have him in it as less as possible, you know. But it was still good.
Yeah, it
Fair
was a
enough.
good film.
Fair enough. First up, congratulations. Obviously, Wally, you don't have to say what it is, but on the new job, bud.
Yeah, cheers, man. I can't say too much because I've got to sign loads of non-disclosures and stuff like that. But it is a perfect job for
That's
me, man.
pretty sweet, man. It is pretty sweet.
I'm sure you'll be able to give us a bit more info later or whatever. When you
Yeah, within reason. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I'll trial next week, so once I know a bit more about it, I know what I can and can't say. So
Yeah, fair enough. Fair
think-
What is the going rate for rent boys this week, anyway?
I mean, with an arse like mine, you'd be surprised, mate. It's quite a bit. Oh man.
God, you swipe a credit card through that, man. It won't even touch the fucking strip. You need to put some weight on before you make a comment like that.
8 years military experience, mate. You won't even feel it.
Fucking
Kelvin,
Yeah,
things
no.
your side, man.
Yeah, all good, mate. 22 weeks to go from tomorrow.
22.
Nice.
Still
Yeah,
quite a way,
all
isn't it?
good. Oh yeah,
Quite a way.
it'll be a 26-week prep, but that was the whole plan. So it's nice and slow, nice and controlled, nothing crazy. I want to try and keep all the fullness this time round, not do what I normally do and panic towards the end and I'm losing tons of weight and going on stage on a really light weight. So
Mm. See, I got told. Obviously, I'm not into bodybuilding, but
Really?
you
clearly,
can shed some light on this. Like, if you turn up, if you turn up at comp,
oh look, it's a bicep, only smaller.
well, I don't have more space. If I had more space, I'd get it all out for you.
Oh, well,
What, you
he
big
had it
belly?
all out earlier. He had it all out earlier, and I can strongly
God,
advise
no.
against it.
So when you turn up at a bodybuilding comp, yeah,
The last time I see swingers like that, mate, they would be a milk farm.
Jeez.
Oh God.
just thought I'd get them out, mate. Ebby, yours are bigger than mine, man. Get yours out. What's going on?
Yeah,
I'm
but
shy.
his are
Something
useful.
of-
His can
Oh.
push heavy weights. Yours
Anyway,
are
can I
just
finish my
there.
question? No.
No, fuck
Yeah, go on,
off.
sorry.
No, fuck off.
So, Calvin, if you turn up to a comp and you're more shredded than you were aiming for, or you less shredded than what you're aiming for, can I put you in another category?
Yeah.
If he's less shredded,
Not-
then it puts
not
him in the fucking
really.
beginning.
No, condition doesn't really have a massive factor in it. It's weight, really. So with
Weight, right.
bodybuilding, yeah. So certain
enough.
classes you'll have to meet a certain weight. So in theory, I suppose if you turned up more shredded, you'd be lighter, so you may go down a class. But generally
fair enough.
speaking, condition won't have an impact on the class that you're competing in. Ultimately, the more shredded you are, the better, because I don't care what anyone says, condition will beat size any day on stage.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, not
Oh,
unless
one-
I'm competing against you, and then yeah, that works.
You've got to set foot in the gym first, mate.
What?
You've got to set foot in the gym first.
I've been going, mate. What are you talking about? I've been
Once a
busy
week
this
is not gonna
weekend.
cut it,
haven't I?
man.
I've got to
I've been busy
admit,
this weekend.
I've got to admit, the picture he posted in chat, he looks like after 3 weeks, was it, of training? You look fucking totally different to what you did before then.
I look a bit, yeah.
Somebody got a candle.
Do you
Me
wanna-
and Jay are on it today. You know what I mean?
Do you
I'll pop
wanna-
round later, mate.
Yeah, mate. Silk sheets
that
are
was a-
coming out.
Romance. Huh?
I dropped a bit of
Isn't it?
I dropped a bit of body weight, a bit of body fat, and I put a bit of weight on. So that was nice. But it's come to a pretty much of a stop again now.
Yeah, but
so.
didn't it do that before anyway? Like when you were first
Yeah, but
training?
I was a bit heavier when it stopped. Now it's just sort of stopped at like 13.1, 13.2.
Yeah, but what's your nutrition like now? Is it still?
Awful.
It's still shit. Okay.
Yeah, last week was really good. I ate what I needed to. I ate well, and then this week I've barely eaten. Like today, I've had half a bag of Cheetos.
Is that
It's
it?
just made me feel sick, mate. Like I can't eat.
What flavour Cheetos are there?
Oh, mate, the classic cheese knick-knack ones,
Oh, those. Yeah.
the
alright.
good ones.
Okay, those are the best kind.
Yeah, mate.
Calvin, have you got something to say there? I see your disapproving nod there, you little bitch.
At least I'm getting calories in, I suppose.
Wow.
Great, isn't it?
I suppose if
Talk
it
about-
fits your macros, then get it in, mate. But you know what I mean.
Talking
I just
about
can't eat.
fucking,
Funny.
talking about nutrition, Ebby pulling out the fucking Space Raiders, man. Oh, look at him. They're right next to him as well. Like he's on the go, constant, man.
Can I just say, that's a family pack. It just looks really small in my big fucking hand.
You are
Other
built like a
crisps,
barn
other
door.
crisps are available, by the way.
What flavour are those crisps?
Yeah, what flavour?
Beef.
The pickled
Oh,
onion
beef.
ones are better.
No, the fucking not.
Fuck
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, they fucking are.
Yeah. Pickle-
Beef. I'm with beef on that.
Listen, Calvin, you have to all your shit pickled, you old cunt.
Doesn't matter what. Once you've blended it up, it don't matter anyway.
I want to say everything. I mean, fucking liver. I thought rosé.
Oh yeah.
Wait,
Good.
Ebby, get yourself down Farm Foods, mate. They do Space Raiders and hula hoops, potato.
I
Things.
had them. I had them tonight. They don't taste that good.
Oh, mate, the hula hoops one are good.
The hula hoops
What
were
are you,
okay.
fucking 5?
Yeah,
Yeah.
mate.
Potatoes.
12, I'll call down.
Is it Wally? When you go down to the market, do they sell them? You know those big bags of chips, like those hot, like what's it? Where it's like
Yeah.
a massive, like 5 kilo bag. Do they
Well,
sell
that's
it?
Costco, man. You got to get that from Costco.
That's
No,
where I
they don't
went to
sell
get.
them in Costco.
That's where I went to get them Cheetos bags like that, big one.
That's what I'm saying. But it's like a big clear see-through bag, but it's like a spicy Cheeto kind of thing.
Yeah, no, they don't do them in Costco.
Ah, fuck.
They do like 100-pack or whatever.
Do they? Don't they sell? They might sell something like that on like Amazon or something, wouldn't they?
They do kilo bags of M&Ms though in Costco.
Oh, that's insane. What kind of M&Ms though? The ones with...
Peanut and plain.
Oh, okay. Not the weird fucking ones.
I like to mix them together though, because I like.
I'm
to
gonna
piss
open a
people off.
discussion on flavors for our next supplement.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Go on
Yeah.
then. What are you thinking?
Ideas.
Oh.
Shall I say the one I said? So you can take the piss?
Yeah, if
Oh,
you say
what was
mango,
it?
and
What was
chili,
it?
fuck off.
Mango chili, bro. Mango
What?
chili.
What was it?
Ah.
Blue Thunderbolt or some shit?
No, I don't know what you're talking about, mate.
Blue
And that's the
Lightning.
nightclub he goes to, Jay.
The
Is
blue
that
oyster.
the new WKD that you bought?
Yeah, mate. Love
Yeah.
that. Sours as well. I got a Smirnoff Ice.
Is that not the new Strongbow flavor that you drink at the bus stop as well?
Yeah, fucking right, it is.
Oh,
Down a park on his own.
Yeah.
Yeah. While he's smoking his roll-ups and stinking a piss.
Ain't...
Or fucking smoking his boyfriend.
And drinking his piss.
I like the idea of doing like sweet flavors.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you said that. I like the idea of what?
I like the idea of piss flavor. Piss flavor sounds great.
Yeah. That ammonia. Yeah.
You know,
No.
like old school sweets, not like lemon pips and
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean? Like old sweet. I mean, Brad's like, I never heard of a fucking lemon pip.
Didn't grab you, mate.
Oh, what about them fucking them bubble gum Coke ball things? You know, them big fizzy.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
fucking banging.
I like the idea of doing sweet flavors,
Yeah.
and then maybe not like across the ball, but maybe like new pre-workout as a sweet flavor, and then I don't know, the hell can have another flavor like
Yeah, but why
like
wouldn't
I
it
said
be
earlier.
sweet already? You're not going to get a savoury flavoured pre-workout, are you?
No, like
Fish and
sweets.
chips flavoured.
You can, mate. You can have a fucking vanilla and pretzel flavor, apparently.
Yeah, but that's...
Axe and Sledge do a whiskey flavored. I think it's a pre-workout or an intra-workout.
I think
I've
that'd
seen
be
that.
sickly as
Is it
fuck,
Jack
though.
Daniels?
Whiskey flavor, nice.
I think it's a Jack Daniels version of something. I can't remember.
Must be, yeah.
That's weird.
I have seen that one.
Is this
Why
where you
don't-
try and
why-
plug the rosé flavour now?
Huh?
You are me.
Is this where Calvin tries and plugs a rosé flavour pre-workout?
How
You
come-
Just
can have a
like-
rosé, mate.
A nice Pinot.
80% of this country drinks rosé, mate. So
That's a good... I like the sweet idea, but...
Yeah, like the old school sweets, like drumsticks.
But we've already got
or-
Cola... Have we got Cola Cube? Was it Cola Cube? Or did
those
we...
are going, Jay.
Oh,
those are
okay.
Yeah.
So it might be
Yeah.
good to look into something else, that sort of style.
We want to try and stay clear of the generic flavors. So like your blueberry, your
Sherbet
apple,
fountain.
your- Sorry,
Sherbet
Yeah.
Yeah, sherbet fountain. Haven't you heard of a
Yeah.
I
sherbet?
said Sherman Fountain. What the fuck?
About
Where
the
did
dib
you-
dab. Do you
where
remember
is he?
dib dabs?
Yeah, dib dabs, mate. Dib dabs have worked better than sherbet fountain, I think, because no one
Yeah,
eats
yeah,
licorice in a sherbet fountain.
I do.
Because this is you're weird. And
Oh, I was
Was overweight.
Jay's used to putting long black things in his mouth, though, isn't he?
All right.
You know what the sleep formula we have, yeah?
yeah,
You are.
I was thinking about doing obviously it's a powder form, but of like a biscotti biscuit flavor.
Not mango chili, then.
No,
What?
that's clearly not accepted. So I've
No,
moved
clearly
along.
not.
I've
Thinking
moved
if
along.
you're gonna do like for the sleep agent, wouldn't something like, I know it sounds really over the top, but like a lavender and elderflower thing?
Or just
Yeah.
fucking
That's just-
green tea. Why you gotta make it complicated? You know,
Because
something
lavender and elderflower are associated with peaceful sleeping.
Yeah, but they
Yeah,
taste
it's
like
that- it's that-
ass.
Let's do it
Or
right.
like a hot chocolate flavour then.
Yeah, hot chocolate,
chocolate,
flavour. Yeah.
Should we go for Horlicks?
Oh yes.
Yeah, Lemsip Max.
Well, this was my idea ages ago, was to turn it into a hot beverage instead of just a supplement.
That'd be good. I think that'd be
But
really
if
good.
Most people have a Horlicks or they have something before bed.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
If you're Calvin's age.
If it's a powder form, then you could mix it up as a hot drink anyway. But yeah, I mean, I like Wally's idea of the lavender, the elderflower. You're automatically associating with sleep.
Yeah.
Green
What
tea
about,
work as well.
But green tea, yes, it's the antioxidant side of it.
boring.
What about we just make it smell like chloroform? And then, you know.
You could just buy chloroform, mate.
You don't want to fall asleep with a rag on your face, though.
We just make the tubs up and we just put
Wake
a ball
up with
gag
a
in
straw
it.
up.
We just make the tubs up.
So I've
put ball
heard.
gag in it.
Yeah, that's not
Not
from
from
it.
experience.
If it was legal to put gabber in there, you wouldn't have a SWAS.
Just with every purchase, a bottle of lube, you know?
You won't need lube with gabber, mate.
I do like the idea of a hot beverage though,
Yeah,
because it's
So do I.
a bit different. It is a bit different.
I've never heard of
Well,
it.
we'll go
on supplements.
along them lines then. We'll have a think and we'll have a chat with.
Yeah.
I like Ebby's idea for a hot chocolate because it's universal. Like
Anyone can drink. Yeah,
think,
anyone likes hot chocolate.
I'm with Kelvin on the Horlicks.
I know a lot. Yeah, see, I like Horlicks, but I know a lot of people that don't like Horlicks.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, just do 2 flavors.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. Empty your bank account, mate. No problem.
I've got
No
kids
problem,
that
mate.
probably I think 5% do a hot drink like sleep aid one.
Right.
Yeah, but we're not
it's-
5%.
you have to be careful because some of the ingredients react differently to cold and hot water.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
You've got to suss that out. As soon as you can suss that out, then you're golden. So
Yeah.
Going back to the other flavors for the other stuff, though, why don't we
Yeah.
put it out to the actual?
I've put it out to
People.
I've put it out to the ambassadors, but nobody's responded. So
No, but no, I want about actually put it out to vote to everybody else, the general public.
we
Could
could
do.
do.
See what-
we could
see what
do-
the
we could
general-
do a-
see what the
we could do
general-
like a post.
Yeah,
like 2
do like a
flavors.
poll, general consensus. What do you think?
Yeah.
Not
Because
bad idea.
people might come up with some really random ideas that we've not even
Not
thought of.
the
And the
people
end
we know, Kelvin. The people we know, you know full well the first 20 answers are going to be sexual.
Cock
Yeah.
flavored lollipops.
Yeah.
That's what it'll be.
It's going to be dick cheese flavor or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, but you'd love that, wouldn't you?
Hey, what dick cheese?
Yeah.
Only if it's got a cracker taste to it, mate.
Who's going to answer the letters when they keep coming in going, this doesn't actually taste like dick cheese?
Yeah.
Then we've got it wrong, mate. We've got it wrong. I don't know who's going to sample that, but yeah.
Do not buy this product. It doesn't taste like smeg.
It's underdosed by the amount of cock in it.
Yeah.
There was 6 grams of cock in it. There's clearly only one.
And I
Daily
think
dosage is 15. 15, which equates to at least 3 inches. I reckon we should go with that marketing strategy. I think that'll work 100%.
Yeah.
Mate, there'd be a big market for it, but not the one we're aiming for.
hey,
But
a sale's a sale, mate. Who
listen,
cares?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but people will buy it because they'll be intrigued.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah.
yeah.
People buy a box of farts. They sell farts in a box or air from another country.
Yeah,
in a
because
box.
of course you would know that though.
Mate,
Well, I
you're
haven't
gonna
bought
have
it personally, but you hear stories all the time.
Oh yeah.
you're gonna have weirdos like us that go, I wonder what cock flavour tastes like. Telling you. I did it. I'm not even joking. I did it the other
every
week.
man on this planet is thinking that same question because
I
we
did it-
can't reach.
I did it the other week. Right? So I sat around my mum's and Jamie got a dick chocolate bar for a wedding thing or bridesmaid thing or whatever, and everyone's like, "I'm not eating it." I took a massive chunk at the top, and I was like, "It's just a shit bit of chocolate, to be honest with you."
Like, what's the problem with eating that though? I don't, a chocolate bar.
Would you walk around a nightclub with one of those dick straws?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know you would, Wally. I know you would.
I've done
it's
it.
a straw. Like the fact, like what makes I'm comfortable with my sexuality,
Dude.
you know.
To be fair, on my stag do, I was drinking out of a cock flask.
He was just drinking out of
Sure,
a
it was a
cock.
flask. Yeah, say sure it was a flask.
And that's before
I
he
had to
got
keep
out on the
shaking it
stag
because I
do.
thought it was empty.
before he left the house.
Yeah, so
It was also stuck to the table, but that was so.
I've done a lot worse than drink out of a cock straw, mate. I'll be honest with you.
yeah, no doubt.
No, we don't need to hear those stories. Thanks very
No
much.
doubt.
So, I'll be the next spring on the next podcast.
How many cocks
What?
have you drank out of?
Mate, I shared a room with 10 blokes for 8 years.
One bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, Ebby, let's get to your interrogation, my friend.
Yep.
How the fuck do we go from talking about cock drinks to fucking talking about my shit?
Have you
I
seen
thought
how
it
you
was
look
quite a
on
natural
camera?
link, actually.
It's a really good transition.
That's got
Have
to
you
be the
seen- have you
smoothest
seen-
transition ever.
Yeah.
Have you seen what you look like on camera?
Oh,
Oh,
fuck.
yeah. Put my earphones on, I can't hear you.
Oh,
All right, guys. So people who are watching, obviously we have Ebby, who's one of our sponsored athletes. Bit of an inspiration for myself, and I'm pretty sure for the other guys as well. The guys, the guys had a fucking. I can only put it as a hard laugh, dude. The hard laugh from what you've told me, and I'm pretty sure if we can get to your story out today, I'm sure we're going to help a lot of people that are pretty much in the same situation.
I hope so.
So, guys, here's Ebby.
Yeah, man.
So, dude, just take us back to when you first started training, kind of like before obviously all the drama started. Before then, like you're training, because you're always sticking up your before and after pictures. And
Yeah.
there's like massive differences. So take us back to then.
So, I mean, I've trained on and off lifting weights, like in my late teens, my mid-20s, nothing major, nothing, above average, just like general shit. I started training, I started doing boxing and MMA. Fucking hell, I can't remember when, before I got diagnosed anyway. And I was always training for something. I had like a fight in my mind. There was nothing set in stone. There was nothing that I was working towards, but in my mind there was a goal. There was a reason I needed to do this. I was 22 stone of pure fat when I started. Didn't have any muscle on me, and I shredded right down to about 16 stone. Then I got diagnosed in December 2013. I got diagnosed with bowel cancer. So January stage 3 as well, which is the same as what Chadwick Boseman had and unfortunately passed away. So that's how serious it was. I obviously went the other way where it could have quite easily gone tits up.
Yeah.
After I had my surgery, January 2014, because I used to go to the gym every day, that was part of my routine. So I used to get up, take the kids to school, go to the gym. But I struggled doing what I used to do before. I couldn't run on the treadmill because of the impact of the surgery. It was an 11-hour operation. It was very, very deep, and running was out of the question. I couldn't box because I couldn't run the risk of getting punched in my midsection. I couldn't grapple or wrestle because I had an ileostomy bag on, which is basically a shit bag, and I had that on for a year. So I couldn't really run the risk of having some dude laying on top of me or me on top of them because of obvious reasons. When I started having chemotherapy, one of the side effects was my throat used to close up when I was cold, or a cold environment. So as I'm running on the treadmill and I'm panting, my throat's closing up. So I literally had to stop all of that. So I'm in the gym. I've just got there. I've already paid my membership for the month. And I'm thinking I can't do anything that I usually do. But was I going to go home? Like, fuck. I just went and picked some weights up. And I started picking weights up. Because I trained earlier in my life, I was never that big. I was okay. But I still had muscle memory. So I kind of got to a decent point fairly quick. And people used to say to me, you're looking good to say you've had cancer. They say it all the time, you're looking good to say you had cancer. And then it kind of changed to you're looking good. And then it got to the point where you're looking big. And I was getting bigger and stronger than people who I used to think were big and strong when I first started training again, when I was lifting little baby weights. It was literally only a few months after the operation. In fact, I was actually on the punch bag and sparring with a friend 5 weeks after having my operation. That's how quick I went back. But obviously, it didn't last. When I was saying sparring, he wasn't throwing these shots. He basically just rung me up and said, let's go to the gym just to get me out of the house, just because obviously my head up my ass. So I couldn't really do any proper sparring where people were throwing shots back, so I changed it all. So anyway, got bigger, got stronger than people who I thought were big and strong, and it kind of got in my head a bit then. And it became a bit of an obsession. Like, I used to drop my kids off in the morning at school, I'd go straight to the gym. I'd literally leave the gym and then go to the hospital and have my chemotherapy sat, hooked up to a chemo machine in my gym clothes. And then after that, I'd go to work. And it'd be like, because I had kids who didn't know at the time what was going on, we kept it from, I literally had to paint on this smile, a fake smile. It stuck. And this fake smile lasted for so long because I had to keep it from them. But people didn't really, when I had told a few people, and how you know, mate, I've had cancer, I've had an operation, because I said it so blasé, and I was down in the dumps, whatever, they kind of shrugged it off and didn't really realise what I'd said, because I had to paint this smile on so my kids didn't get affected. So it just became the norm of living my life around having treatment, around having chemotherapy, like say going and sitting after the gym session, having chemotherapy, which were obviously it were hard, but like I say, you all know you've got kids, you've got to fucking put your own shit aside. You know what I mean? You've brought these kids on who have to protect them. You do it, you protect them from yourself as well. So I did that. I had 5 months of chemo in 2014. I had numerous scans, MRI, CT scans, blood tests, cameras where cameras shouldn't really go, to be fair. Then I had my reversal in 2015 because I had the bag on. Still had all the tests and that. Now, I didn't really, looking back, I just did as I was told. Doctors say, you've got to start on this day, I'd turn up. We need to do this, I'd turn up. If I knew now, if I had to do it all over again, I couldn't do it. It was that hard because I took it one day at a time. Didn't really feel at the time. I was very kind of numb to it all. And that's when the problem started. I started suffering from depression after that, really, really badly, and anxiety. Went to speak to a few counsellors, and they basically said that when I was going through everything, the tests, the operations, the scans, the cameras, etc., my mind was constantly occupied, and I had so much shit flying around like a washing machine. After all the operations and everything started to kind of die down, he said that's when everything's settled, and that's when you can start to think now. And when you're thinking, you're overthinking. So then that's when I started with depression, anxiety, PTSD. So obviously started on medication. Didn't really want to. It took a while because at the time, I mean, mental health awareness is a lot more now than it was even a few years ago. And there was a stigma of being on antidepressants, which I didn't want to do. But it took me about 3 trips to the doctor before I actually decided to take them. Brought myself off from when I started feeling better. And I didn't feel better for a while. And then it kind of got worse and worse and worse. So I had really bad anxiety attacks. Now, because me and my partner went through it together, she was always there for me. I struggled went to one here. And she had to go on a business trip on weekend. And I had an anxiety attack which lasted literally the full weekend because I was without her. And she was my rock. She was my support unit. So I went back on the antidepressants and I stayed on them for a few years. And it just became a daily routine. It got to the point where they stopped working. So the doctors increased them and then increased them again. It got to a point where I was at the maximum dose and they still weren't working. So they tried with something else. And 2019, I think it was, I had a mental breakdown. And that was a month after I got discharged from the nurse care. They kept an eye on me for 5 years. Now, they initially said they were going to keep an eye on me for 10 years because of how young I was to get bowel cancer. It's not something they really test for without good reason until you're over 60. So they said they keep an eye on me for 10 years. So after 5 years, they said, right, we're going to discharge you now. I kind of panicked and I thought, well, who's going to look after me? You know what I mean? Even though everybody walks around this earth every day without really being looked after in that sense, I'd been so used to having this security and safety net of regular tests. So if anything did come back, they'd find it. So that caused me to have a bit of a lot of a mental breakdown, which I was off work for 6 months, and it was not a good time at all. I was training twice a day just to obviously keep me sane. It took a bit of a strain on my relationship, even though my partner was there, the best she could. But obviously living with somebody who is suffering from a whole host of mental health issues was very, very hard. It put a strain on us. I ended up getting sent to have a psychiatric evaluation. Now, I had loads of shit thrown around at me. My GP said that she thought I was bipolar, and she said that I had schizophrenic tendencies. The head nurse at the psychiatric unit thought I was had a personality disorder, And the actual psychiatrist himself said it was personality issues, an adjustment disorder, paranoia, and some other shit. Depression and anxiety. And they actually give me medication, which is schizophrenics, which I'll be honest with you, I refused to take them. And I came off all my meds, and I had to just handle shit on my own because the meds were making me feel a hell of a lot worse, still making me drowsy. I was suffering from insomnia, but I was knackered during the day. I was driving, I was dizzy. It just was not safe for me to take medication, so I came off it all. And basically just deal with shit on a daily basis, a day at a time. I had counselling, which obviously, believe it or not, speaking to somebody did help. But to have counselling, I do believe you have to be in a certain position where if you're like, I don't want to talk to somebody, then it ain't going to work. If you're like, right, I need to get the shit off my chest and I need to talk to somebody, and you're ready for counselling, it really does work. But you have to be in that mindset.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. They asked me to have counselling. I had counselling before, and I don't like talking to people that have no fucking idea what I've gone through.
Yeah, I mean, when I was having chemo, I had counselling. Then it didn't work because I wasn't ready for it. And I didn't know at the time. I just thought this guy, he's just talking shit. He's asking stupid fucking questions. But I didn't need it at the time because I was having chemotherapy. So if anything had come back, the chemo would have taken care of it. So in my head, I was safe. Yeah. So I didn't need counselling. And I've been to about 5 different counsellors through the NHS, through work. And the last job I had before this one, the person who was dealing with was the head of occupational health. She was fantastic. She actually used to she used to go down to the House of Lords and talk about mental health in the workplace. And there was actually one thing that actually flicked a switch. Now, for months, I was chasing a diagnosis. I wanted to know what was wrong with me. I wanted to be put in a box that was labelled, you've got this. And I wanted a diagnosis. And she actually said that my issues had stemmed from, obviously, my father passed away with cancer when he got diagnosed exactly the same age as me. So that obviously raked everything up. And she said that your issues have basically been since you were a child. She says, you've had these issues for 30-odd years, and I think it's about time we stop trying to cure you, and then you realise it's there. That's part of you. These issues, these mental health issues, and these things you've got are just you. And take a day at a time. There's going to be no cure, but as long as you know that, just take it each day at a time. Believe it or not, when she said that, it was a massive weight off my shoulders. It was just like, right, this is just me now. Do you know what I mean? There's
a bit of normality, basically. To say
there's going to be no cure. That's just it. It's just part and parcel. And since then, I mean, I have good days, I have bad days. I'm not going to lie, this shit ain't going to go overnight. But I'm just lucky that I've got really good, support unit. My partner knows everything about me. She's fantastic. It's just you take it a day at a time.
Yeah. No, I get everything with the counselling side of things. I get that. I weren't ready to have it. I don't think I'll ever be ready to have it. I don't like being told that people understand when they weren't there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you've literally just summed up probably 7 years in just a few minutes, and it was a whistle-stop whirlwind tour of your life.
Yeah.
But the one question I've got is, I mean, I think even now, you were still quite blasé when you said got diagnosed with bowel cancer. I mean, how on earth? I mean, that must have absolutely rocked your world when that diagnosis came through. How old were you then?
32.
So what were the symptoms? How did you even get to the point where the diagnosis came about? Because that just doesn't happen overnight, does it?
No, I mean, to be quite honest, I've always been paranoid about having cancer. About it, I kind of feel like it was always going to come, and it's like when I got diagnosed, I knew it because of my dad. Everybody says, "Oh, you're just like your dad. You're just like your dad." All my life, and as much as you love to hear that because my dad's no longer here, you kind of think I'm just like my dad, but to what extent? Now, my mum, she also had leukemia. Hers was very, very aggressive. She was supposed to go on holiday for 2 weeks, and they rung her the day before she was going and said, if you go, you're not coming back. That's how bad it was. She's still here. She fought it. Do you know what I mean? So with both my parents having it, and everybody saying, you're just like your dad, it was always at the back of my mind, and I was always very paranoid about health, and I always have been. So basically the symptoms were, I was shitting blood. Now, it was not major, but I went to the doctors, and I just kept following the appointments, which I never once thought, you've got bowel cancer. Do you know what I mean? So it was never a case of I need to get the results. It was just a case of I'm shitting blood. It's pissing me off. You know what I mean? So, but when you there's no easy way of saying this. When you go to a GP to say you've got bowel cancer, you're going to have every man and his dog sticking his finger up your ass. And I'm thinking, why the fuck did I do that? Do you know what I mean? Because in my head, I didn't think I had it. I mean, it didn't even cross my mind. So then you have, next appointment, there's a camera. Next appointment, there's another longer, bigger camera. And it was actually that appointment when they told me there and then. And I can't even begin to fucking tell you how I felt. It was just, the first thing that went through my head is I had the day off this procedure and I was going to take my wife out for some lunch. Now, when my mum got diagnosed, they rung her up at home and says, we need you here straight away. And she had to go straight to the hospital, right? So that's the last real incident with cancer close to me was my mum basically saying, get to the hospital now. So when they said to me, you've got bowel cancer, the first thing I thought is, I can't. I'm taking my wife for lunch. As silly as it seems, that was the first thing I thought. Do you know what I mean?
You can't really say what comes into your mind. It's what pops into your mind at the time. I mean, I did nothing on that scale, but I remember going for just a standard sort of STI test, and because I was South African, they did an HIV test, and it was literally a finger prick, a drop of fluid into a thing, drop the blood, another bit of fluid, and they went, no, you're clear. And it was like, literally, I sat there and I was like, that is literally 2 seconds for you to tell someone that they've got HIV. So like the thought process is probably not rational at all. Like,
I mean, to be honest with you, when I was there, my wife was in the car park. She was sat in the car, and they've took me into this room. I had no idea. Now, I should have done, because there were nice couches, there were a table, there were flowers on the fucking coffee table, and there were a box of tissues. I should have known when they took me in, and I didn't. He says, are you on your own? I says, no, my wife's outside in the car. She says, do you want to ring her and bring her in? Now, in my head, they're going to say, right, you're fine, go home. I says, no, she's fine. She'll wait in car. And he says, no, I think you should bring her in. I went, no, she'll be all right. They went, no, seriously, give her a call and tell her come in, right? So I've rung our lass, and I says, listen, I says, they want you to come in for some fucking reason. So she came in. Now, I will never, ever forget the look of sheer panic on her face when she walked in. I'm still oblivious, and I'm smiling like some big dopey cunt, smiling at her because I'm just, hey, babe, come in. You know what I mean? Didn't have a fucking clue. She knew, from them basically wanting to come in. I still didn't have a fucking clue until they sat us down, told us, and that was it. It was just like, numb. Absolute fucking numb.
That's fucking crazy.
I mean, all rational thinking went out the window as well. I mean, for instance, she says, stay off the internet, right? Now, what she meant is, don't be Googling shit, because you can Google, if you can Google something and basically give yourself a death sentence. Yeah. In my head, she said, don't go and stay off the internet. I thought she meant I wasn't allowed to put it on fucking Facebook. I swear down. I mean, I don't know what that fucking status would have been. Shit, there, got diagnosed with bowel cancer, but I'm off to lunch now.
Is there an emoji for that?
Or the shit emoji.
One of the things, Ebby, you told me, and please tell me if this is digging too much and tell me to shut up, and you don't have to answer this. But
no, go for it.
One of the things you told me when we've spoken a few times was that really got me was when you had to tell your daughter.
Now, we didn't tell the kids until a year after. I think I'd had my reversal. Now, that was 2015. Fuck me, how long's that? That's, 6 years ago?
Yeah. So
my son would have been 11, and my eldest daughter would have been, fucking how old is she? She'd have been 12, 13-ish. Now, my eldest daughter's very, very intelligent, and my son is not so much, bless him, you know what I mean? He's more of a rugby player, you know, a bit of a unit. Now, we said to him, do you know why I was in hospital? And my son turned around and went, well, you had cancer, didn't you? Now, that would have kicked in the fucking gut, because I knew how hard it was for me as a grown man. I had to speak to my wife on a daily basis, vice versa. He'd sat for a year thinking this without once mentioning anything and without once talking to anybody. My eldest daughter didn't have a fucking clue. We had to tell her. We thought she might have had inkling if his son did. And we didn't tell my youngest because she was only like 2 or 3. But when I told her, she actually asked me, it was when I got discharged from my nurse's care, I had to have one last colonoscopy, which is the long camera inside your bowel. Now, she knew I had to go to the hospital for checks every now and again. She knew I had an ileostomy, which was the shit bag, which is obviously your bowel is coming out of your stomach into the bag. And she always says, Daddy, what have you done? And I told her I'd pulled a muscle lifting weights. So 2019, she's a bit older. She said to me, Daddy, you always go to the hospital. Can I ask you a question? I says, of course you can. She says, have you got cancer? And I just said to her, I says, no, I haven't, babe. I says, but I did. I says, but I'm fine now. Now, that was shortly before I had my mental breakdown. And she suffered really badly with anxiety. It was horrendous to see. She used to have basically voices in her head, which I did, and I looked into it, and it was stress related. So when she said, Dad, these voices in my head, I knew exactly where she was coming from. And she'd be crying for me to go in a bed, and I always took her in every night. And she said, Dad, I've got a voice in my head saying, say goodnight to your dad. This is the last time you're going to see him because his cancer's come back. This shit was pretty much every day. And then it got to the point where we were getting phone calls from the school because she was getting herself so worked up, and she was going down and seeing the receptionist. Now, the receptionist was fantastic. She used to ring us because my daughter's basically getting voices in her head saying, your dad's not picking up today because he's died because he's got cancer. And that just, it got to the point where we had to take her to CAMS. We had to basically get counselling. She was getting nervous tics. And it was really horrendous to see. I mean, thankfully, she's come out of it. I mean, every now and again, she does say, you know, saying in my head, and I just shut straight down straight away because I said to you, can't feed off of it. I says, the more you worry, I says, the more it's gonna play in your mind. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, she, out of all the kids, she really suffered the most with you know, her own anxiety and mental health.
This is what people don't seem to understand as well. Like people that haven't gone through it is how much it suffers on everybody else as well.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, it's I can't even fathom fucking how you've dealt with it. Like I'm speechless with it, mate. This is why. One, as a company, we decided to make you an athlete, and obviously as we grow to do everything, because your fucking story, your strength surpasses anything that can happen in a gym, mate. And
yeah,
it's fucking unreal. Like,
I mean, looking back, I think to myself, how the fuck did I deal with that? I took a day at a time, and I was pretty much numb, and I was pretty much on autopilot where, you know, I wasn't doing my own thinking for me. I got a letter from the hospital saying you need to go here, so I went there. I got a letter saying you need to have this done, so I went and had that done. It was basically, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing from time to time. I just did as I was told, and I took every day as it you know, came. There's a few things that stick out in my mind. Now, this was literally, it might have been the day I was diagnosed or a couple of days after. I was sat in bed with my wife, and I was crying my eyes out. And I turned to her, and I didn't say anything to her, but I turned to her to basically say, help me. Without saying anything, that's why I turned to her.
Was that two misses, yeah?
Yeah. And she had tears streaming down her face. Now, I didn't realise that until I turned to look at her. And I just thought, I'm turning for her help, but she's beside herself. And at that point, it was basically, I dried my tears off. And I actually thought to myself, you have got to be strong for her. It can't be the other way around because she's crying her eyes out. And you need to man up and look after her. So that's another reason I had this fake painted smile on my face, because I had to be her rock. And then when I broke it down, it's like, when you fall asleep, you don't know you've fallen asleep. You're laying in bed, you're tired, and the next thing you know, you're waking up. I presume death will be the same. You don't know that you're dead, but your partner damn sure fucking does.
Yeah.
She's the one that we left on her own. You know what I mean? So that was, I kind of like, as much as I felt sorry for myself, I had to fucking shift that. And I had to be the rock for her. As much as I say she was a rock for me, she was. But I had to have this smile on my face and try and not play it down and not wallow in my old self-pity. And like I said, this fake smile, it stuck. You know, you smile falsely for long enough, it sticks. You know what I mean? And that's another reason how I kind of deal with shit. And it's like, going back to what you said about, I say, so blasé about having, you know, bowel cancer, because it's been in my life for so long. I do say blasé. The same way as when I went to one of my psych evaluations and they mentioned depression, and I passed a comment. I said, just depression, because you hear the term thrown around so often. But it's like somebody said to me, people kill themselves and they've only been diagnosed with only depression, just one diagnosis. Now, the person who I was under occupational health basically said the depression on its own is reason for suicide. And that's something else that I went through, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But she said, because I had all these other so what I'm looking for, diagnosis like PTSD, anxiety, personality issues, paranoia, everything that I had, she basically said it was a perfect storm. So having one of them alone, people kill themselves over. I had like a group of them. So when I said only depression, I felt like what I was going through was a lot worse than just the word depression. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get you.
Yeah.
That's fucking...
But mate, I can't, like, you can probably tell we're all fucking speechless, mate. To be honest, it's
I mean, when after it all happened, I used to kind of promote it a lot on Instagram, and a lot of my followers have been in that position, and I kind of, now this might come across as being a bit conceited, but I kind of put myself out there to be maybe, you know, somebody's inspiration or a role model. You know what I mean? Saying that you're somebody's role model yourself is a bit conceited, you know what I mean? But I thought, if I can give one person hope that having cancer is not an instant death sentence, then brilliant. Because the minute you think someone's got cancer, what's the first thing you think?
Yeah. Instantly, you think it's done.
Death sentence, yeah.
Yeah, so, but it got to a point where I put on me, you know, my hashtags, #cancer survivor, this, that, and other, and I used to put it a lot. I don't do it so much now, because as much as I'd like to, you know, influence people and let them know that it's okay, it's a part of my life that I kind of, as much as a big part of my life, I try to put it behind me, where I don't want to dwell on that shit, and I want to move on from it. Do you know what I mean?
So what's the goal now? What's now? Now that that's all done and dusted, it's gone. What's your goal now?
My goal pretty much now is what it has been from before. Now, I read a quote once, and I think it was actually The Rock that put it on his Instagram once, years ago. And it was a quote from a guy called Dr. Johnson. And it's, "He who makes a beast of himself gets rid of the pain of being a man." Now, I took that literal. Whereas if I can turn myself into this big motherfucking muscly beast, I will get rid of the pain of being a man and any man illnesses that are out there, i.e. cancer. I took it literal. So that is what it basically, it's etched into my brain, and that is my deal. I want to be as big as I possibly can. If I'm a big fucking beast that's not human, I ain't going to get no human fucking disease. You know what I mean? And I know people out there will think, well, you know, cats and dogs get cancer. I had not thinking that fucking far into it. But that's, before somebody, well, my cat had cancer, fuck your cat. Do you know what I mean?
But that was enough. That was enough to change your mindset.
Pretty much,
That one quote was enough for you to go, do you know what? I don't want to be a man. I want to be a beast, but that's in your eyes.
Yeah.
Somebody else turns around and goes, why you want to be a beast? But that helped you.
Yeah. The reason I want to be a beast is because I don't want cancer again. Now, when I stripped down to 16 stone, and like I said, I was training for something. When I was doing my boxing, when I was doing my cardio, I was on a treadmill for, you know, an hour a day before I even started training. Now, for me, I can't do that shit anymore. Do you know what I mean? But I could. Then I could be on the treadmill for an hour. But I had a fight. It's like I had a fight in my mind, and that was the fight. Now, if I'd have been 22 stone of pure fat, if I'd have been my weight now and my size now, I couldn't have maneuvered that I did. Now, I had to have two nurses basically carry me down the hallway to kind of get me walking again, because obviously the operation was so severe, and I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. Now, without running the risk of sounding sexist, it were two little female nurses. I ain't ever having two little female nurses carry me fucking nowhere ever again. You know what I mean?
What about two Wallies? Because he's about the same size, isn't he?
Well, he puts his fucking hand in appropriate places. You know what? I'm sure when I had my colonoscopy, he actually was there putting his fingers in places, getting me ready.
Yeah, he came out the curtain, mate.
Yeah.
Behind the curtain. he was
That's how you do it, isn't it?
Oh. Right. Speaking of which, my first fucking colonoscopy, right? This will make you fucking laugh. I'm fucking shitting myself, right? I've got these paper boxes on with the ass fucking slit at the back, right? It's the female nurse doing it, and there's two other people in there. One's basically one who holds your hands and says, it's going to be okay, you know, breathe through the pain. The nurse is fucking dealing with the camera, and then there's another person watching the fucking screen, and there's somebody else in there, fuck knows what they were doing. So Jackie basically lay on my side with my knees up to my chest in their fetal / I've just been raped, right? She then says, these shorts are no good. I can't get to where I need to get. So she fucking rips them open from the back. Right? So picture that. I'm on my fucking side with my knees up to my chest, and she's ripping my fucking paper boxes off.
You're not the smallest of blokes either, let's be honest.
I mean, I've never felt so fucking violated in my life, and it gets fucking worse. She says, I've got some gel that I need to place there. It's going to be a bit cold. So she sticks, I don't know how many fingers. I'm going to say one for me on fucking dignity. She sticks a finger up my ass. Then she leans over me and puts her other hand on my fucking shoulder, right? And I'm like, there will be no touching. Let's not make this fucking intimate. Do you know what I mean? Just don't caress me. Just fucking do what you need to do. It was fucking horrendous. I mean, that was, yeah. I mean, that wasn't obviously the worst part of that day, but it pretty much fucking sucked. And then what you say is, because obviously to look into your bowel, it needs to be flat and empty. So they give you this drink which flushes you out. So they're pumping you full of air. You're getting the worst trapped wind you've ever experienced in your life. It's painful. And they tell you to fart it out to open your bowel up to get rid of the air. So not only am I laid in the fucking fetal position with a fucking camera that's about a metre long up my ass, and there's two female nurses and another fucking male nurse in the room, then on top of that, they're telling me to fucking fart. It was like a really bad fucking episode of Ant and Dec's Saturday Night Takeaway. But obviously after the watershed.
Oh, mate, I don't know.
This is what I like about you, because I mean, like, you just, as bad as the situation was, you turn it into a joke and you have a laugh with it. Which is why when I was having shit time, and I've called you a few times, and you just make me laugh over the phone.
You've got to do, because life's too serious as it is. Now, that's obviously some serious shit. And I pray and touch wood it never fucking happens again. But I can't dwell in it for the rest of my fucking life. Now, don't get me wrong, I have bad days where I can fucking burst into fucking tears for literally nothing. Now, I say nothing, and I used to say that to one of my counsellors, and she'd say, but is it really nothing? You know what I mean? But at the moment in time, I'm crying for no reason. Yeah, the shit's up back in my mind. Yeah, it's always on me fucking, it's always going to be there. But it's literally nothing that's fucking sparked it off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't. It happens, mate. You can't. It doesn't show. It's not a sign of weakness. It doesn't do anything, but it happens.
It's
You know,
weird.
people-
It's weird
Go on,
seeing
dude.
it on your Instagram and stuff and reading about it, but hearing it in person, like, that hits you a hell of a lot harder than anything I've read on your Instagram. I know, like, that still hits you hard. Like, holy shit, this guy survived cancer and everything. But the way you tell the story and everything and how you can joke about it is just insane to me. Like, it's crazy.
It's quite a thing to go through. Like, this is why it's hugely funded. This is why it's hugely supported. It's just, you can imagine, Evie, like, you've gone through that, and just you by yourself has experienced that, and you can fully understand why people march and people raise money and people do shit like that. Because
Without a doubt. I mean, taking it to a fucking darker place, I suffered from a lot of fucking mental health issues in 2009 when my breakdown. And I'll be honest with you, my family saved my life on more than one occasion. Now, people say that when you obviously have cancer, think positive, a positive mind. And you hear the terms, oh, you know, you'll fight this, fight. And I believe that I fought that because I had kids and I had my wife. You know what I mean? When I was at my lowest and I used to wake up, before I even got out of bed, I was like, is this all there is? You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm depressed before I even get out of bed. I didn't want to be here. I'll be honest with you. I didn't want to be here. And the amount of times I thought about ending my life, right? And I'm not going to beat around the bush, but I'm going to say this as brutally honest as is. The amount of times I thought about suicide, right? Don't better think about. I lost my dad at 7. And as I mentioned before, counselling a couple of years ago, she said to me, a lot of your issues stem from your dad passing away at 7. Not a chance was I going to put that on my kids. Not a chance was I going to have my fucking wife raise 3 kids on her own without me. As much as I didn't want to be here, I couldn't do it to them. But I tell you something, I'm so fucking glad I didn't, because as much as I've still got issues ongoing now, the suicidal thoughts was a it was a flash in the pan. As much as I could have ended my life, and that would have ruined a lot of other people's lives, I don't know how to fucking say this. It was basically just a case, just hold on a little bit longer, things will get better. And they fucking did. And now the thoughts of suicide do not even enter my mind. But I could have easily made a catastrophic decision on a fucking whim that would have obviously ended my life, but not only that, changed 3 kids' life and my wife's life. Just like that. You know what I mean? And it was just a case of, just hold on. Shit will get better. Shit does get better. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if there's anybody listening to this who does feel like that, I'd rather you fucking just send me an inbox on fucking Instagram or just talk to somebody close to you. You know what I mean? I'm getting a bit fucking pent up and I'm getting riled because I'm telling you serious shit. I'm telling you deep, dark shit from my fucking, that I've not really told a lot of people. Do you know what I mean? I'm glad I did not kill myself. I'm glad I'm still here. There was a reason. Obviously, my kids were the reason and my wife was the reason I didn't do it. But now I'm glad I fucking didn't, because that moment passed. If I'd have ended it there and then, that moment would have never have passed. And that would have been, obviously, maybe killed himself because he suffered from depression or whatever. Yeah, I still got issues now, but that's gone. That moment has passed. Do you know what I mean? It's scary to think that I could have done something on a whim when, obviously, shit gets better.
Yeah. You could have made a life-changing decision on one very small emotion. Like, in the grand scheme of things, that's such a small emotion.
Yeah.
Like, with everything that's going on.
It's only a short period of time. It's like you say, you wake up in the morning and you thought that. Do you know what I mean? It's just, I can't even put words to it, because obviously, personally, I've never been to that situation or that level. It's just outstanding, like how people in the human body and the human mind can either fray from one silly decision or be as strong as hell to fight through and get you through the other side. It astounds me how strong people can actually be.
And you know, there's still a lot of stigma around depression and mental health, because I'll be honest with you, before I suffered from depression, and I used to hear people, now I was a bailiff, right, a few years back, and I used to get people saying, I don't work, I claim benefits, I suffer from depression. And I'd roll my fucking eyes and I'd think, you know what, you're full of shit, just get fucking happy. I was one of them people.
Yep,
until I suffered from myself. Now, I don't know if you've seen online, there's scans of people, the brain scans of people who suffer from mental health. It is a physical alteration in your brain's workings. You can literally see your brain sparks differently. So in the case of just getting happy, and I've seen this shit on fucking line, people say, well, people with depression just need to get happy. Now, yeah, I was one of them people. I was very, very fucking naive until it happened to myself, until I did a lot of research. The people who say that, man, they're fucking idiots. Your brain literally fires differently when you've got mental health problems to that of people who don't.
I had exactly the same problem. I was the same as you. Oh, just fucking get over yourself. Do you know what I mean? Shit like that. And then I had it, and I remember calling you, and I couldn't even leave the fucking house. Like, it's different from an outside perspective. You're like, oh, just fucking get over yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And then when you've got it, you're like, I can't even put my shoes on.
It's hard because in that perspective, like obviously, Wally, I'm going to use you in this, obviously, because you're the only person really recently that I've known has suffered.
You come around and looked after me quite a bit, to be fair.
But that's the thing. I made an effort to go around at least once a week, but I knew full well me saying, sort your fucking shit out is not going to work. So, because I used to do that before, same as you, Abby. I was naive before. Like, and I used to tell my friends, oh, fucking just sort your life out. Do you know what I mean? But
I remember Brad coming around and I'm like punching myself in the head. Like, I know what you're saying and I agree with what you're saying. Sort your shit out, but it doesn't matter how hard I punch myself, it's not working.
Yeah. It's just like if anybody watching this can take anything away from it, like obviously there's loads to take away from this. But one thing I personally will take from this is that the fact you need to cherish and stay strong for the people around you.
Without
Do you know
doubt.
what I mean? Because that for you, Ebby, was your rock and your solid base where you had that massive mind change. And for me, that resonates quite a lot because I live for my kids and my family.
Without doubt.
So
Without a doubt. I mean, me and my wife, we changed our job. She changed it in October. I changed it January. We're now residential support workers, and we work with kids in care. We both do 24-hour shifts. We work for the same company with different houses. Now, for instance, I worked yesterday. I started yesterday morning at 10, and I finished this morning at 10:30. She started at 10, and she'll finish tomorrow at 10:30. Now, I've not seen her this weekend. Now, the beginning of the week, I didn't see her for 3 days. And I'm going to be honest with you, I really fucking struggle when I don't see it. Yes, the first day, okay. The second day, I struggle like fuck. You know what I mean? And when I'm talking to people at work, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see our lass tomorrow, they're like, fucking hell, I'm going to go home and my partner's going to be sat at home and I can't be arsed with him. I wish he'd fucking go out. Wish she'd just go to work, whatever. And I'm like, how can you even fucking say? It's like, I want to see my wife and I miss her like fuck. You know what I mean? But then I think about, they've not been through what we've been through. Now, having a mental health issues, yeah, I'm not going to lie, it's put a lot of fucking strain on our relationship. Yeah, there's been times when I've put a lot of pressure and she's put up with a lot from me. Yeah, and I know this, and I feel fucking awful. And as silly as it seems, I even feel awful that I put having cancer on her. It's like, we've been together in 20 years, but back then I used to think, fucking hell, man, if I never met her and she never fell in love with me, she wouldn't have to deal with somebody having cancer, and maybe I'm going to die, so she wouldn't have to go through that heartbreak. And I used to fucking beat myself up over that shit. But I could never understand how people don't want to see the partner. But then I think people haven't been through cancer. Not only that, having cancer and surviving is a massive thing, but having cancer and having a mental breakdown within 5 years, it pushed us together, and we are fucking strong. So if I miss her, I fucking miss her. Do you know what I mean? And she's my rock. She's my life. She basically saved my life on 2 occasions. One, I believe I fought like fuck to survive having cancer. But secondly, she literally saved my life because I didn't end my life because of her. So that's why we're so fucking close. So yeah, sometimes I miss her like fuck, and I'll hold my hand up and say I struggle like fuck without her. As big and as ugly as I am, I struggle like fuck without my wife.
Used to like 2Ps as well. Like when we've been on stalls together and stuff like that, she always video calls and says hello to everyone. Like she's as much as an athlete as you are. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
I mix your fucking clothing as well.
Ambassador shit. Then she'll fucking get a group chat and tell you lot to kick me fucking out. So maybe
she's been with us pretty much as long as you have. Like used to come together, you come as a pair. Do you know what I mean? So you can see the bond the pair of you have got together.
That's it's like I don't go on lads nights out, lads fucking holidays. It's just literally, you don't invite our lass, I ain't fucking coming. Simple as that. She's my best fucking friend at the end of the day. That's all there is to it. And I'd shift fucking heaven and earth to her. I mean, if she watches this back, she'd be like, "You're a right cunt to me sometimes," and I know, and I'm fucking sorry. I've got demons. What can I say? I've got issues. You know what I mean,
that's pretty nice to watch, though.
Has anyone got any final questions for Ebby?
Mate, I'm lost for words with everything, man. You've literally, I don't know how you did it, but in what has it been, like half hour, you've managed to cover more than I could ever imagine. Like you've covered the mental health aspects of things and your survival story and everything. If there's any words that you could say to anyone that you haven't said already, like watching this, suffering from whether it's be cancer or going through something like that, or just depression in general, or something just struggling to get through life, what could you say to them?
So in terms, if you have been diagnosed with cancer, if you know somebody who has been diagnosed with cancer, it is not a death sentence. You always hear the worst case scenarios, but you never hear about somebody's like Chadwick Boseman, for instance. He died of cancer. It was all over the news, and it was fucking heartbreaking. Don't get me wrong, but the amount of people, would you hear that fucking John Smith from down the road has survived from cancer? No, you fucking wouldn't, but he did. There's people out there on a daily basis survive, and as awful as it is, people seem to dwell on negativity and people's misery and sob stories. There's a lot of fucking survivors out there. So if you've suffered or you've been diagnosed and you sat thinking, fuck me, what do I do? My friend, my neighbour, my family member, they've got cancer. It's not a death sentence. And in terms of mental health, I'm very, very lucky because I've got a really supportive family unit. And my wife, she's there for. I can tell her she does not one thing she does not know about me. Now, I do understand that there's people that aren't lucky enough to have, a family unit, a wife, one thing or another. There are people out there who are very qualified to listen. Do you know what I mean? Speak to your GP. Look online. The people getting shit off your chest. But like I said before, and while you can back me up on this, you have to be ready to talk.
Yeah.
But give it a shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not. See, I don't mind talking with use lot and stuff, but I'm not prepared to talk to a specialist because they ain't had it.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. You're lucky because you do have us. People
This
that
is
walk.
what I'm saying. Yeah. So, I mean, I've said it before, and I'm sure you'll say it. But if anyone's in a shit situation, I'm happy to come to the gym with you. I'm happy to message back.
Before I finish up, I don't want to keep rambling on, but one thing very quickly, like I spoke to a professional, a counsellor. Now, when I look back at when my dad died, I was 7. Yeah, and it still upsets me, but I don't get upset that my dad's died because as silly as it sounds, it's like I've never had a dad because, from 7 onwards, it's a long fucking time without having a dad. I believe I've never had a dad. Yeah. And when I look at pictures of me when I was 7 or me before when I was with my dad, and I get upset, I believe I get upset for that child who lost his dad, or whatever I am now manifested after that. It's like he died with his dad and I came after. And I always thought that. And I always thought I was daft and I always thought I was silly until I mentioned it to my counsellor. That is an actual thing. It's an actual thing. It's called inner child syndrome. It's basically where you've got a child inside you that stopped growing at a time of, serious fucking trauma, and I've got like a 7-year-old child inside me that just fucking craves fucking love and attention. You know what I mean?
Does that mean if I get you Lego blocks for Christmas, you'll be all right? Yeah?
Well, if anyone's getting Lego, mate, it's me. All right.
Listen,
Elvin, have you got a final question for Evie? You've just muted yourself, mate.
Yeah, because a dog came in the front room.
All right. Yeah.
clean it up.
You what?
You clean it up.
No, I mean, really sort of moving on from what Jay was saying about, you've said about your wife and your family unit and stuff like that, and reaching out and chatting and getting things off your chest. But this has been a long time. We're talking 6 or 7 years. Did you say 2013, 2014 when you were diagnosed?
Yeah, December 2013. Yeah.
So just putting all of that to one side and going back into the sort of the training aspects, who have you looked up to? Who's inspired you? Who's kept you going through all these years? Obviously, you've got your wife and all the family unit in the background, but from your training and your gym side, you've mentioned The Rock and a couple other people. There's been some comments that have really stuck there and have been quite deep and meaningful to you. But where do you look to for inspiration for you to go, that's where I'm going? You've said you want to be this beast, but who's inspiring you? Who's driving you?
So when I've always had a massive love for Arnold Schwarzenegger since I was 5. Still to this day, I look up to him. I love watching his old training videos. When I started getting back into weights after obviously I couldn't train anything else. I love The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. I think he's fantastic. I watch a lot of his training videos. Rich Piana, I was a massive Rich Piana fan. And I used to watch his Bigger by the Day series, and what I liked about him was obviously how he was blunt to the point. I used to obviously watch him a lot. And Eddie Hall, I'm a massive Eddie Hall fan, and I've followed him for a fair few years. And obviously I know he speaks a lot about mental health. It was his autobiography, which he's actually really good fucking read as well. Yeah, so the main 4 people, Arnie, The Rock, Rich Piana, and Eddie Hall, and this guy called Brad, who's owns a company called Viking Forge.
Don't grow his ego anymore.
He did jizz all over my back picture the other day.
Just messaged me and told me to say that. Did I say it right?
Wally, any final questions, bud?
No, man. I think you've covered everything. I think
Cool. Pretty much wrap this up, guys. Evie, thank you very much for sharing your story, but it's I can't put it into words. You stole my fucking inspiration, mate, to go through all of that. I'm sure you are many other people inspiration as well. Even though you look up to other people, mate, it's you shine a light within the Viking Forge team as well, massively. So it's a huge thank you from all of us, basically just bearing all. Some of that was a little bit hard to listen to, but you know, it is hard. There's nothing easy about it.
Mainly the bit where you spoke, mainly the bit
Yeah.
where Brad was speaking was the hard part to listen to. The rest was all right.
But yeah, anybody watching this, I hope for some way we've managed to help you in some way, shape, or form. That's obviously Ebby's main goal with bearing his story. And if he has, feel free to reach out, guys. Message us. We'll be more than happy to message you back. And obviously, if you need help in any way, shape, or form, Ebby knows loads of people that can help because he's obviously gone through it. We've got Wally who has helped and has to deal with certain things as well. So guys, feel free. We are here to help. We're not experts. We are not clinical experts on this, but we can be a shoulder to lean on. We can be a ear to listen.
Yep.
So thanks very much for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. Tune in next 2 weeks' time, and we'll have Danny back on, and we'll be discussing a lot more training, dieting issues, and stuff like that. Yeah. Take care, guys. Thanks very much, Ebby.
Bye.
Yeah,
See you later.